Namaste and welcome. It is Rishi here from MeditateWithRishi.com, and this is part 2 of how to deal with anxiety. So, as promised, I'm going to share with you a journaling exercise that you can do that will immediately, right now, help you to find a solution to this problem that is giving you anxiety. It will help you to think clearly about the situation and actually walk away feeling much better and positive about this thing that is giving you anxiety. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, before we start, I need to say that the previous video I had shared with you the exercise, the breathing exercise you need to do before doing this exercise. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go and watch it. I will link it in the description below, because you need to do that exercise first in order to get yourself in a very calm and clear state, and then do this journaling exercise. I think it was Einstein that said that you cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. So what we need to do first of all, whenever we're feeling anxious, is to raise our frequency, to raise our vibration, to become very clear, very calm, and then look at the problem. Okay, so let's get into it. This is the exercise. It is a 7-question journaling exercise. Question number 1 is very simple. What is making me anxious? So grab a pen, grab a pad, and start writing. What is making me anxious? That should be fairly simple. Okay. Number 2 is, why is this making me anxious? Look deep into yourself. I'll give you an example. When I was deciding to quit my job in order to teach meditation, I had a lot of anxiety around money. You know, will I be able to make ends meet? What if it doesn't work out? All these things, right? So find out, why are you feeling anxious? What is it about that thing, whether it's money or a deadline or a difficult conversation, what is it about it that is making you feel anxious? Okay, these two will start to give you a lot of clarity. Question number 3 is just getting right to the point. What is the worst case scenario in what is making you feel anxious? What is the worst case scenario? Think about it. In my example, the worst case scenario for me was if I quit my job, go to India, and not make money from teaching meditation. I would not have a place to stay, not enough money to eat. I would become homeless, essentially, right? This was, in my mind, the worst case scenario. This used to just send chills, down my spine every time I thought about quitting my job and starting something new. So you write down for your thing, what is the worst case scenario? And then we come to question number 4. How realistic is this worst case scenario? Is what you're thinking, the story you've made up in your mind, is it really that bad? Or have you just made things up? So for example, for me, my worst case scenario was that I would become homeless, right? But actually, would that really happen? Because obviously we have some friends, we have some family that can support us in a time of need. So likely what would happen is, if I failed, I would just, get some support from friends and family, live at someone's place for a month, get some money, start working again, and get back on my feet, right? So the worst case scenario was not being homeless. So you write down, how realistic is this worst case scenario, and how much of it are you making up in your head? Now that you start to think positively about this, the next question number 5, is, what is the best case scenario? The thing that you're anxious about, actually, if it goes well, what would that look like? What is your ideal outcome from this? What is your ideal outcome? My ideal outcome was that I quit my job to teach meditation, and it actually works out. And I no longer have to be in the 9 to 5, and I can do what I love. And actually it did work out. Right? So the best actually can happen. If you do something with all your heart, the universe will support you. So the point is, what is your ideal outcome? And what happens if that happens? What if the best happens? And what does the best look like? Write that down. The next question is, okay, now I know the best case scenario. What can I do in order to achieve that? What can I do in order to achieve that? So in essence, what is in my control? This is where you make a plan, you visualize it happening. Think about, what can you control? What can you actually do? And the final question is, what can I not control? What is not in my control? The outcome is not in your control. Write down that the outcome is not in my control. So in my example, again, it was that I can start doing all the right things. I can start making content. I can start telling people about my journey, about how meditation helped me. I can become a certified teacher. I can do so many things. But ultimately, will it be a success? Who knows? That's not in my control. The result is never in our control. And that's something we have to accept with an open heart. So you write down what is not in my control. So now you know exactly what you can do, and you know what is not in your control. So from here, your job is simply to do your best and surrender the rest to the universe, to nature, to how things naturally unfold, to the flow of life. You do your best, you do your part, and you surrender the rest to the natural flow of life. So this is the exercise. Question number 1, what is making me anxious? Why is it making me anxious? What is the worst case scenario? How much of that have I made up in my mind? What is the best case scenario? What can I do and control? What can I not do and control? This will give you so much clarity, and realize that, okay, you can only do what is in your power and surrender the rest to the natural flow of things. And then immediately you go and start doing that which you can do. You look at your best case scenario, you figure out what is the next step I can do right now, and you start doing that. Just one step in front of the other, one step in front of the other is all you need. You know that saying, how do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. How do you build a wall? One brick at a time. You don't need to see 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. You only need to see the next step. You do what is in your control and surrender, surrender, surrender the rest to the natural flow of things. Realize that the universe is here to support you. If you take a leap, it will provide a net. But you need to take that leap first, because you can't see. You need to take that leap, and then you'll see that the net is there for you. So that is it for today. Okay, I really hope this helps. Reminder once again that before you do this exercise, you want to do the breathing exercise first. Watch the first part of this video. You sit down, you breathe, you meditate, you raise your level of consciousness, become very calm, become very clear, and then you sit to do this journaling exercise. And that will give you clarity. It will leave you feeling more positive about the situation, at least give you the confidence to take the next step that you need to take. And remember, surrender to the natural flow of things. The universe is there to support you. It will cast its net when you take the leap. So that is it. Thank you very much for listening. Namaste.